So I'm going to talk to you about some creative options for showing what you know once you've leveled up to go digital, because you don't have to show your learning always with a digital tool. I'd like to give you some more creative and hands-on options that you can explore. And so you're going to find those materials here at this table. First, you will notice all of these colored pens. These pens are designated as sketchnoting only pens, and they are intended for just that purpose. You'll note that all of these pens have a white tip, but I store them with a white tip down so that the ink and the marker drains to the tip and they don't dry out as easily. I ask that you keep them neat and put back in the containers when you're not using them. So you can use the sketchnoting pens for a couple different things. The first thing I have available is a little postcard post, and I've got some cards in here. Postcards aren't quite as common as they used to be, but postcards, when mailed, typically have a lovely picture, drawing, or image on the one side from often a particular destination. And then on the other, half of the postcard is designated for the mailing address, and then half of the postcard is left for you to write your message. So if you're using a postcard idea to show what you know, you'll be writing to someone, telling about the text, and then here's where you're going to put the information meeting a learning goal. So for example, if you're working on a learning goal where you're determining main ideas and key details, you've read a text, and then you can list that. Some type of signature, and then of course you sign your name. Now it's important that you have the name of the person it's being mailed to on one line, your full street address with your house number and then the road on the next line, and then you skip to a third line, writing the city, the state, and then you'll have a zip code. And if you need to see me for this information to help you out, I can. The great part though is the back side is that you can illustrate something that's significant to your text. So that's one way you can share your learning with a postcard post. Another way that you can share your learning, and it's a personal favorite of mine, is sketchnoting. Now you have your Sketch to Stretch notebook, and they're stored here under this table for you. I want to show you how I use sketchnoting when I learn. I like to read something and then I go back and I think about it, and I think about what's important in the text, and I just make visual notes. It's visual note taking. And so these are some of the visual notes that I've made. This particular one is actually on sketchnoting itself. I'll come back to this. So when I read, I just play around with keywords, key ideas. I find that when I'm drawing and I'm illustrating, the thinking about the text and then adding the visual to it helps this really sink in to my memory. Sometimes I'll alternate my orientation. But what's really cool about this is I can look back at any of my sketch notes and I can remember so much more because I've created these visual prompts for myself. There was some I just did recently. So you can notice that I'm noting on different chapters. This was one I did on a poem, and I employed the book head heart strategy that we've talked about. So this was my thinking about a poem. Again, key ideas from a text. So there's no one way to sketch note, but again, it's a great way to process your thinking. So if you are thinking about sketchnoting, that's another note that I had. If you are thinking about sketchnoting, just some sketchnoting basics for you. Pretty simple. Color, I find, helps in the aids in the memory. Playing around with the style of your letters, lines for connectors, ways you might frame, might make faces, bullets, figures, word pictures. What you are doing is you are sharing your ideas. You're not creating artwork. That's not the purpose of sketchnoting. So that's another thing that you can do. I also have a bookmark bin here. Inside, I do have Sharpie markers. The Sharpie markers are designated for bookmarks. However, if you need to perhaps do a fine detail with a Sketchnote pen, that is okay. With a bookmark, you're going to be able to create your own memory tool. So, say for instance, in the classroom, we've learned about some great questioning strategies that we can use for ourselves when we're reading an informational or a nonfiction text. You might want a bookmark with some prompts for some questions that you could ask yourself to keep yourself fresh in your learning. I've had students make book head heart bookmarks. I've had students do reminders on thinking stems. Really anything that you want to say, hey, I want to remember that and use that, you can create a bookmark for. I am going to limit you to creating only one bookmark per week, so you're not back here only making bookmarks all the time. Also, with the pens, with the Sharpie markers, we do want to make sure that the lids or the caps are pushed firmly back on. And again, you'll notice that they're being stored upside down here so that the ink in the pen can drain to the bottom. So, keep in mind, this station is for more creative ways to think. Just help us keep it neat and tidy and pick up your materials when you are finished.